So we will begin. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadate Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Pancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna. So welcome to the Sri Harinam Chintamani series which is going on Saturday and Sunday in the morning. Yesterday we were discussing Bhaktivinoda Thakur's solution to avoid the three kinds of pramad, that is enthusiasm, agraha. And he makes very important points. One is one should do his prescribed number of rounds with a sankalpa, with a vow. And he should fix his gaze on the holy name. And what this means, we were mentioning, just like a yogi fixes his gaze on the tip of the nose, we can take that principle. At the same time, instead of fixing our mind on the tip of the nose, we fix our mind in hearing one mantra. And like that, we should be very careful to perform the chanting and avoid pramad, all the three kinds of pramad. And we should gradually, not artificially, try to desire to increase our chanting, but with ekagrata, we should regularly chant the holy names, and then slowly what will happen uh, when the inattention obstacle is removed, we will start tasting the nectar of the holy name, and naturally we will increase the rounds. Now here we should increase the number of holy names chanted. We should not artificially try to increase. Here Bhaktivinoda Thakur makes a very important footnote. One is in the 15th here, that is, fix the gaze on the holy name. Now, here Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions that a person who is inattentive will want to very quickly finish his prescribed number of holy names. One should not be unenthusiastic in this way. Again, one must make great effort to fix one's gaze on the holy name. And he says, first, we should strive to chant the syllables of the holy name clearly, and one should strive to chant the holy name with love. Effort in that direction is appropriate. So, in this context, today we will see from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Prabhupada's instructions on how to pronounce the mantra, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, clearly and distinctly and hear the mantra. Now, I would like to ask the audience before I discuss this. In the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, there are how many syllables and how many words? It's a simple question. Anyone would like to answer? In the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, how many syllables? Syllables in Sanskrit is called as akshara. And how many words are there? Who would like to answer? You can type also in the chat box. Anyone? Yes. Yes. There is 16 words and 32 syllables. 32 syllables. Now, many sometimes don't understand what is akshara. Akshara is one individual sound which is vibrated independently. Her. Her is one akshara. Re. Re is also one akshara. Ra. Now, Ra and Ra, although they are like, Ra, Ra, Ri, like that, na? But still only one pronunciation is done. So that is why it is considered as one akshara. So it is 16 words and 32 syllables. Now, Srila Prabhupada in his Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, first chapter, verses 17, first Adi Leela, 17th chapter, verses 22 to 32, speaks about chanting the mantra clearly and distinctly. This is very, very important. And I have observed many devotees for many, many years are not able to chant the mantra clearly and distinctly. So here Prabhupada is giving some secrets of how to chant the mantra clearly and distinctly. And if we try to do this one thing and try to hear attentively, then the effect is that we will gradually start tasting the nectar, and automatically over a period of time, when taste comes in, our chanting speed will increase. We need not artificially try to increase the speed, try to finish the rounds, but we try to clearly hear the mantra clearly and distinctly. So let us see what Prabhupada has to say. I will take few of the verses in the background before actually Prabhupada speaks about it, because then we know what is the context. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is speaking in text 22. Kali Kale Nama Rupe Krishna Avatar Nama Hai Te Hoy Sarva Jagat Nistar. In this age of Kali Kale, the holy name of the Lord, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, is the incarnation of Lord Krishna. Name Rupe Krishna Avatar. Krishna has descended in Kali Yuga in the form of holy name. Simply by chanting the holy name, one associates with Lord directly. Nama hote hoy jagata sarva jagat nistar. Anyone who does this is certainly delivered. So Prabhupada is directly saying that chanting Krishna's main names means directly associating with Krishna. So this also, while our chanting, we don't experience that we are directly associating with Krishna. One of the reasons is that we don't chant in sambandha. Sambandha means in relationship. Now, this is a very important principle which Bhaktivinoda Thakur spoke in the third chapter of the Harinam Chintamani. Just like the mother, when she calls out the son's name, uh, it's just not the name. The name is called in relationship with affection. He's my son. So the calling of the name is in relationship, sambandh. Similarly, uh, we devotees, when we chant Krishna's names, we don't address in direct relationship with Krishna that I am Anu, Anu Chaitanya, individual consciousness, belonging to the Vibhu Chaitanya, the supreme consciousness, and I am his part and parcel. I belong to him. So, in that kind of a relationship, just like the child is calling the father, when we establish this Sambandhagyan and chant, then that can be a antidote for, especially audasin or indifference. So here is a very important point that why don't we experience Lord Krishna's association directly? Because we don't chant in Sambandha. Next verse. Dardya lagi harer nama ukti tinavar jadaloka bhujaite puna evakar. This verse repeats the word eva, certainly, three times for emphasis. And it is also three times repeats, and it also repeats three times Harer Nama, the holy name of the Lord, just to make common people understand. So here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is referring to the previous verse, which is from the Naradiya Purana, I think. Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nama Eva Kevalam, Kalo Nasti, Kalo Nasti, Kalo Nasti, Eva Gatir Anyata. So Harer Nama is three times mentioned. So why the word Eva is repeated? No? And Hare Nam is repeated just to make the common people understand. So that's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is instructing. Srila Prabhupada in his purport. To emphasize something to an ordinary person, one may repeat it three times. Just as one might say, you must do this, you must do this, you must do this. Thus, in the Brihad Naradiya Puran, yes, it is in the Brihad Naradiya, repeatedly emphasizes the chanting of the holy name so that people may take it seriously and thus free themselves from the clutches of Maya. So, if you take this instruction of Brihad Naradiya Puran, you can become Jagata Nistar, you can become free from Maya. It is our practical experience in the Krishna conscious movement all over the world that many millions of people are actually coming to the spiritual stage of life simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra regularly according to the prescribed principles. Therefore, our request to all our students is that they daily chant at least 16 rounds. So here I have marked it in blue. Prabhupada is not saying 16 rounds, he's saying at least 16 sounds. So 16 is the minimum. As one chants attentively and gets taste, he should increase his rounds. So he's saying at least 16 rounds of this Hare Nama Mahamantra, offenselessly following the regulative principles. Thus, their success will be assured without a doubt. So here, if you see in this particular statement of Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada is assuring success only based on two criteria. One is when we increase our rounds. Secondly, when we chant offenselessly. If we are chanting offensively, then success is not assured. In fact, when we chant Namaprad, the progress is very, very slow. When we chant Namabas, the purification is fast and we make good progress. But when we chant Shuddhanam, the progress is rapid. So Prabhupada is here especially speaking about Shuddhanam, chanting Shuddhanam. Now, further explanation Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving of the Brihad Naradiya verse only. Kevala Shabde Punarapi Nishchaya Karana Jnana Yoga Tapa Karma Adi Nivarana. The use of the word Kevala only prohibits all other processes such as cultivation of knowledge, practice of mystic yoga, or performance of austerities and fruitive activities. Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Eva Kevalam. It is mentioned, Keval. So why Keval is mentioned like that? That only by chanting Hare Krishna and no other processes. So what it indicates that it prohibits all other processes. Prabhupada. Our Krishna conscious movement stresses the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra only. Whereas those who do not know the secret of success for this age of Kali unnecessarily indulge in the cultivation of knowledge, the practice of mystic yoga, or the performance of fruitive activities or useless austerities. They are simply wasting their time and misleading their followers. When we point this out very plainly to an audience, members of the opposing groups become angry at us. But according to the injunctions of Shastras, we cannot make compromises with these so-called Gyanis, Yogis, Karmis, and Tapasvis. When they say they are as good as we are, we must say that only we are good and that they are not good. This is not our obstinacy. It is the injunction of the Shastra. Prabhupada very humbly and very boldly is just sticking to the Shastra. We must not deviate from the injunctions of the Shastra. This is confirmed in the next verse of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. What is the next verse? Anyata ye mane tara nahi ke nistar nahi 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 eitin evakar. This verse clearly states that anyone who accepts any other path cannot be delivered. Nahi ke nistar. This is the reason for the triple repetition. Nothing else, nothing else, nothing else, which emphasizes the real process of self-realization. Kalo nastiva, kalo nastiva, kalo nastiva, eva gatir anyata. So there is no other process except chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Okay, now is a very interesting. Oh, sorry. Sharing screen. Yeah. So now Prabhupada speaks. Okay, this is the verse 29 now. Vaishnavakara Aimata Vaishnavakare. Yeah, we were in. Okay, I think we missed one slide. We were here. Yeah, text 25. Now text. Oh, the slide is not going ahead. Yeah. Sorry, for some reason. Okay, let us see now. System has hanged. Yeah, okay. Okay, Mohan Rupsham Prabhuji has raised his hand. Yes, Prabhuji.
No, Prabhuji, there is one notification from the Zoom. You need to close that.
Okay, I have closed that notification. Fine, I have closed that, yeah. Oh, there is some real problem. This is not, the PowerPoint is getting hanged. Just a minute, let me see whether I can again open up the slides. Yeah, okay. Let us see. Yeah, okay. Yes, okay. Yes, fine. Okay, text 26, 25 we have finished. Now text 26. Now Mahaprabhu's instructions from here are about chanting, because now he has already established that it is only by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and no other process. Now Mahaprabhu instructs, Trina hoite nichahan sada lavenam apanyan nirabhimani anyati beman. To chant the holy name always, one should be humbler than the grass in the street and devoid of all desire for personal honor, but one should offer others all respectful obeisances. So this is a principle, actually, Trinadapi Sunichena principle, which is in the third verse of the Sikshastram, uh, is at the stage of Nishta. At the stage of Nishta, one is a self-realized soul, and being a self-realized soul, he is a humble soul. So the natural vision of the soul is manifest in his heart, and naturally he is humble and he doesn't expect honor from others, whereas he gives honors to others. But we need not be at that stage. We can practice this. We can practice this how? That we always give respect to others and we don't expect respect for others, for ourselves. At least in our practice stage, we can do this. Because ultimately, when we start doing this, then we can chant the holy names. So here is a very important principle. As long as we are not at this level, we cannot chant the holy names. We are not at that level now. So how do we do? At least in our practical life, we practice uh, to give respect to always others and not expect respects, because that lays the ground for chanting the holy name. Just recently, a few days back, I was in a hurry to go for a meeting, and one devotee who's a well-wisher, who only comes rarely for some festivals. In a year, I see him 2, 3 times. So he wished me just by bowing down his head, saying Hare Krishna. I also softly said Hare Krishna and I went ahead. And then again, I had to come back to pick up some papers. And again, I saw him and I just said Hare Krishna. He also he also said, but he did not see my response. What happened to you? You are very busy. I'm addressing you Hare Krishna and you are not responding. क्या हो गया आपको? So that is what was his response. Then I just kept quiet. So when somebody addresses us Hare Krishna and there is no response, then how much our false ego is hurt, we come to know. But the verse is saying, Apanai nirabhimani, devoid of personal honor. If somebody doesn't honor us back, We should not be disturbed. If we are disturbed, that means we cannot chant Hare Krishna. Because when we sit to chant Hare Krishna, oh, why did that not devotee respond to my Hare Krishna? When I said, this will come in our mind. So this is what we need to practice. Although a self-realized soul at the stage of Nishtha is naturally having the genuine humility of the soul. This is a very important point to be noted. Next, Tarur Sama Sahishnuta Vaishnava Karibe Bharsana Tadana Kake Kichuna Bolibe. A devotee engaged in chanting the holy name of the Lord should practice forbearance like that of a tree. Even if rebuked or chastised, he should not say anything to others to retaliate. Now, this is very, very difficult. In fact, there is a relation between tolerance and humility. The more one is humble, the more is his tolerance capacity. So they have a correlation. So because we are not humble, when we are rebuked or we are chastised, we get our reactions, we immediately fire back. But it is always better that we take and then reflect, or then we can see why did this happen? Maybe because I might have done something wrong to him in my previous interaction, or it is part of my karma for my own purification. Like that, we should deliberate and give solace to ourselves. So even if rebuked or chastised, he should not say anything to others. So this is our test. If we counteract, then we become disqualified to chant the holy name attentively. Kataleha taruyena kichu na bolia shukaya moreta bo jhalana magia. So this is the quality of a tree. For even if one cuts a tree, it never protests. And even if it is drying up and dying, it does not ask anyone for water. So we also should not protest when we are chastised or rebuked. And then we should not scheme with others to retaliate back. He has made my heart dry. So I will soak him with other means, so like that. Prabhupada. This practice of forbearance, Tarorapi Suishna, is very difficult. Prabhupada is admitting. But when one actually engages in chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, the quality of forbearance automatically develops. So as I was mentioning, when the natural humility of the soul awakens at the stage of Nishtha, and the third verse is speaking, Trunadapi suni chena tarorapi sahishnuta amani namanadina kirtaniya sadahari. So there are four qualities which come when one is in the stage of Nishtha. He is naturally humble, he has tolerance, he is always respecting others and never expecting respect for oneself. So these naturally develop, Prabhupada is saying. A person advanced in spiritual consciousness through the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra need not practice to develop it separately. For a devotee develops all good qualities simply by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra regularly. So at the stage of Nishtha, these qualities manifest. There is no separate endeavor done as in the path of Gyan and Ashtanga Yoga to develop these qualities. Now text 29. Eimata Vaishnavakara Kichuna Magiba Ayachita Vritti Kimva Shakafala Khaiba. Thus, a Vaishnava should not ask anything from anyone else. If someone gives him something without being asked, he should accept it. But if nothing comes, a Vaishnava should be satisfied to eat whatever vegetables and fruits are easily available. So Mahaprabhu is speaking about ayachita vritti, not to ask from anyone else. And if someone gives, we accept it. If nothing comes, we be satisfied with what vegetables and fruits. Now, devotees, especially whether it is brahmacharis or the sannyasis or even grahasthas, should sometimes try to practice this, ayachita vritti. Whenever they go to the holy dham, they can go especially to places uh, in a secluded place where they can stay and just focus on holy name. And there, until somebody calls and feeds me, I will not ask for prasad. And if nobody calls me, then at last I take fruits. So something like that, because Bhaktivinoda Thakur spoke that even on Ekadasi one should chant without the thought of food. That is becoming free from Annamaya level of consciousness. So devotees should not think that this is too high for us, whether it is brahmacharis or grahasthas. But in a year, maybe 3-4 days, we can practice this. And when we experience how Krishna reciprocates uh, with us, when we chant, automatically Krishna arranges for the prasadam, and you'll be surprised. And then your faith in the holy name, faith in Krishna actually multiplies 100 times more. And then you can, on a regular basis, practice this. That is what we need to do this experiment at least once a year. To be in some secluded place in the Dham, absorb yourselves in the chanting. Until some Vaishnava calls you for prasad, we will not take. And we continue our chanting. And then if somebody does not call, at last, then we go and take fruits. So we should do this. Sadhanama labhe yatha labhite santosh ete achara kare bhakti dharma posh. So what will happen if you follow this text 29? Mahaprabhu is saying one should strictly follow the principle of always chanting the holy name, and one should be satisfied with whatever he gets easily. So if somebody does not come and feed him, then he should be satisfied with whatever fruits. It's not that he goes and tries to get some paratha, hot, or pasta like that. No. Such devotional behavior solidly maintains one's devotional service. If we do this, what will happen? Bhakti Dharma Posh. There's a portion for the Bhakti Dharma. Now, Mahaprabhu speaks this verse. Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. One who thinks himself lower than a grass, who is more tolerant than a tree, and who does not expect personal honor, yet is always prepared to give all respect to others, can very easily always chant the holy name of the Lord. Kirtaniya Sadahari. So at the stage of Nishtha, when Anarth Nivritti has happened, chanting automatically is done all the time, because we have the genuine humility of the soul, and the genuine humility of the soul manifests in these qualities, that one is very humble. One who is not self-realized, he is proud of his wealth, proud of his uh, uh, family lineage, proud of so many things, and is also tolerant. I told you the relationship between humility and tolerance. And because he is a humble soul, Vidya Vinay Sampanne, Brahmani Gavihastini, Suni Cheva Sopakecha, Pandita Samadarshana. He is able to see that every species is a spirit soul, part and parcel of Krishna. And that's why he gives respect. And he doesn't expect respect for himself. Now, Prabhupada in the purport says, the grass is specifically mentioned in this verse because everyone tramples upon it and the grass never protests. So why is grass mentioned? Because we know that we walk on the ground where there is grass and you trample upon the grass. And the grass never protests. This is one quality of the grass. What is another quality of the grass? I want to know from the devotees. What is another wonderful quality of the grass? Anyone knows? Would like to raise their hands? Yes, Amala Bhakta Rani Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji, when we trample on it, it again, it stands up and it's very, very tolerant that way.
Yeah, it comes back. Another one more quality. One more quality.
I can't think of another quality, Prabhuji.
Okay. Let us see. Vikram.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, am I audible?
Yes, yes, yes.
Even the grass is trampled under the legs, it still gives a soothing and a good feeling, soft feeling to our legs, to the person who is trampling it. It never pokes like a thorns to the
Yes.
feet.
Yes, that is wonderful, wonderful quality. There is one more quality I'm looking for. Yes, somebody else has raised a hand, Dr. Archana Mataji. Yes, yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. It stands against all odds. I mean, how much flood there is, it can sustain itself once the flood is over.
Oh, wonderful. This is another new wonderful understanding. Yes, whatever. Sometimes huge trees can fall, but in a storm and all, the grass still stands. Yes, but I'm looking for one more quality. A lot of churning is happening. One more quality is there of the grass. When we trample, what happens? Anyone else? Okay. So when we trample on the grass doesn't break. Grass doesn't get cut into pieces. So a person who is having this quality of Trunadapi, when he's chastised or criticized, his false ego is not hurt because he's having the natural immunity of the soul. The grass also, when it is trampled, it doesn't break. It not only doesn't break, but when it is trampled, it will come back immediately. Immediately, it will come back. So what I mean is that when devotees are criticized or chastised or they are hurt, our false ego is hurt. And how long we carry that, we know. Sometimes months together, years together. But the grass, doesn't break at all. So this is one more wonderful quality of the grass. So that's why this example indicates that the spiritual master or leader should not be proud of his position, being always humbler than an ordinary common man. He should go on preaching the cult of the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by chanting the Hare Krishna Mantra. So Prabhupada is here mentioning, especially of a spiritual master and his leader, he should be humble. And the more one does preaching, the more there will be what? Protest within the community also, and even from outside. So only when we are humble, then we can keep on continuing. Otherwise, we will be discouraged. In fact, it is a good sign and indication that there is, resistance to our preaching, even within the movement and from without. That is from internally and externally. That means, it is a test for us to become more humble. Because if we are humble, then Krishna will help us to maneuver through this. So this is how the indication is. Now, Mahaprabhu says, Urda Bahu Kari Kahon Shuno Sarvalok Nama Sutre Ganti Para Kante E Shlok. Raising my hands, Urda Bahu, I declare, everyone please hear me. Shuno, string this verse on the thread of the holy name, Nama Sutra Ganti, and wear it on your neck for continuous remembrance. And wear it on your neck. Now, Prabhupada, when chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, in the beginning, one may commit many offenses, which is called Namabhas and Namaprad. So Namabhas is lessening of offenses. It doesn't mean that we are actually not committing offenses. So even Namabhas is also offensive chanting, but it is lessening of offenses. Because sometimes devotees don't understand the difference between Namaprad and Namabhas. Namaprad is very clear. It is inattentive chanting where we are committing offenses. It is the offensive stage of chanting. In the Namabhas, it is not the real name. It is just the abhas of the real name. It is the shadow of the real name. Just like there is hot puri and halwa for me to have. The puris are hot and steam is coming out. The halwa is smelling. This is real food. The same picture I take and I make a poster and keep next to me. Although my mouth is watering seeing the picture, but it cannot satisfy me because it's just a picture. Similarly, there is the real name and the shadow name. So we are able to access only the shadow. But Namabas is so glorious. If one comes to the Namabas stage of chanting, all the Papa will be shy and he'll become liberated and he becomes qualified to chant Shuddhanam. So the Namabas stage is the lessening of offenses. And it is the stage, it makes the stage for chanting Shuddhanam. In this stage, there is no possibility of achieving perfect love of Krishna by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. So Prabhupada's words, please mark them very, very attentively. So what is Prabhupada saying? Can we get love of Godhead by chanting Namaprad and Namabas? No. Only by chanting Shuddhanam we can get love of Godhead. Therefore, one must chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra according to the principles of the above verse. Trunadapi Sunichena Taropi Sarishna. One should note in this connection that chanting now comes the most important instructions for us about to chant clearly and distinctively. One should note in this connection that chanting involves the activity of the upper and the lower lips as well as the tongue. So what are the three things involved in chanting? I want to ask now. What are the three things involved in chanting? Proper statement was there. What are the three things involved in the chanting? Yes, Mataji.
Being attentive, Prabhuji.
No. The statement just now I made.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I didn't pay attention actually. I'm sorry.
So yes, Virendra Yadav, Prabhuji. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. It's Prabhuji, upper lips, lower lips, and tongue.
Yes. Now, why I'm going now here step by step is because these instructions are very, very important. Because if we follow these instructions what Prabhupada is saying, then we will clearly and distinctly hear the mantra. The mantra will act on the heart, and automatically we come to the stage of Trunadapi Sunichena. So that's why I'm discussing now step by step. So the chanting involves the upper lip, the lower lip, and the tongue. These are the three things which are involved in chanting. Okay. All three must be engaged in chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. It's not that we hold the tongue, or we don't move the upper lip, or we don't move the lower lip. No, all three should be engaged. The word Hare Krishna should be very distinctly pronounced and heard. Very distinct pronunciation, and it should be heard. It should be pronounced. Vibration should be done from the vocal cord, voice, and heard through the ear. Sometimes one mechanically produces a hissing sound instead of chanting with the proper pronunciation with the help of the lips and the tongue. So what is, this hissing sound? Anyone knows, can just demonstrate and show what is this hissing sound which we are speaking? What is this hissing sound? Anyone? Because I've seen many, many years devotees who have been chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, they are not able to follow this instruction of Prabhupada. What is this hissing sound? And why this hissing sound comes? Praveen, do you have to say something?
It's the whispering is coming. Means the proper words are not coming. Just whispering. So
The whispering is now whispering comes.
that's why the mantra is
Why
not.
the whispering comes. No. Okay. Yes, sir. Just a minute, but I think there is a yeah. Now, why is the whispering coming? Yes, Dr. Archana Mataji.
Sir, when we are in a hurry to finish off the round, we speed up our speed and instead of chanting it loudly, because we get exhausted, then the volume of the chanting also reduces, and ultimately we goes into the whispering mode, like Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, like this. That's what I feel.
Yeah. This might be a little external reason, I feel, but there is another reason why the whispering sound comes. It's quite a simple thing. Let us see. Yes, Amal Bhaktarani Mataji.
Yeah, Prabhuji, when we don't involve all the three, the upper lip and the lower lip and the tongue,
Yeah.
and we are
Among
in
the
a hurry
three,
to finish it off.
yeah, among the three, which one causes the hissing sound?
I think when we are not using the lips properly,
No, the tongue.
the tongue, okay.
Tongue, it is the tongue. So I don't know how to whisper, but if you hold the tongue and blow air out, then only you can whisper, right? Yes, when we hold the tongue and blow the air out, then whispering sound comes. So while we are moving the lips, if we hold the tongue, then there is the hissing sound. This is what Prabhupada is speaking here. So while chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, we should be moving our tongue based on the syllables we are taking, and where the syllables come, I will come to that in the next slide. So we should not produce a hissing sound, because if we produce a hissing sound, then we cannot distinctly pronounce the mantra. So the effect will be less. Chanting is very simple, but one must practice it seriously. Therefore, the author of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, advises everyone to keep this verse always strung about his neck. Now, very, very interesting thing to be noted. Prabhupada in the purport is explaining how the chanting involves the tongue, the upper lip and the lower lip. And if we can chant clearly and distinctly, then we'll become Trunadapi and we'll hold this verse on our neck. So if we can follow these points, what Prabhupada is saying, we'll not produce a hissing sound. We'll clearly and distinctly hear the mantra. And when we clearly and distinctly hear the mantra will go to the heart. It will do the Chaito Darpan Marjanam, and we will naturally taste the mantra. We'll naturally become humble, and we'll always carry this verse on our neck. So here is the secret Prabhupada is giving, not to produce a hissing sound, but to chant clearly and distinctly the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Now, here in the chart, you can see there are 5 places in the mouth where each of the aksharas, the vowels or the consonants where we pronounce. So this is called as kanta. Kanta is here. Ka. Ka comes, the sound comes from the throat, kanta. And then there is the palatal. Then there is the cerebral. Then there is the dental. The dental is the danta. Danta it is called, the 4th region. So ta when we clearly pronounce ta, we are using the teeth. And especially pa is where the movement of the lip is there. So you can see labial. Labial is oshta. Oshta means lips. So all these consonants, they, especially the ka varga, they are all chanted through the kanta. The ta varga, they are chanted through the danta. We have to use the danta, and also the tongue movement is there. And then there is the pa varga, which is the oshta, lips. Pa, 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 ma. So you can see there is a movement of the lips more. Now we need to do this exercise. Ha and re. Ha is what? Ha is here. Ha. Ha is coming from where? Anyone? Where is ha coming from? From the location in the among the five. Where is ha coming from? The answer is here. Where is ha coming from? From which portion of our mouth? Where is the ha? Kanta, yes, kanta. And re is cerebral. So it comes in between on the top. So this we need to practice. If we start practicing chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, very, very attentively focusing on the syllables and where the location it is coming from, if we do this practice over a period of time, then we will not produce that hissing sound. Now I will show you one example of a hissing sound. Hare Krishna, Krishna. This is like holding the tongue. When you hold the tongue, the air is blocked and there is a hissing sound coming. Whereas Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. There is movement of the lips as well as the movement of the tongue. That time you can clearly and distinctly pronounce the mantra, and you try to attentively hear the mantra, then the effect is very, very deep. And then you can come to this level of Trunadapi Sunichina, what Srila Prabhupada is speaking. So it's very important. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given a lot of emphasis that we clearly and distinctly hear the mantra. That's why I felt that this section from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, which Prabhupada is speaking, if we can start working on this to clearly and distinctly pronounce the mantra, exactly where are the syllables, from what location they come, we just practice it and then start chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. It will lead to swift advancement. Now, how many devotees knew about this discussion in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, which Prabhupada is speaking about the art of chanting clearly and distinctly? Raise your hands. How many devotees have come across this discussion before? Okay, many devotees are not aware. Many devotees I've asked and they have not come across it. So fine. So this is a very important point which Prabhupada is making about. I discussed this because Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in his he has mentioned in the footnote about it. Now the next and the last section of Sri Harinam Chintamani in attentive chanting is Prakriya, the way. So I will just take these three verses and then we will see the points in our. I will send you these slides. I will send you all the slides on the group and you can download them. So let us discuss now the next section from 47 to 49. That is the way. Ultimately, now he's coming to the solution. What is the way now to completely become free from this pramad and attain perfection? Ekagramanase nirjanete swalpashana namasmriti abhyasa karive bhaktajana. The devotee should make it a regular practice to spend a little time alone in a quiet place and concentrate deeply on the holy name. So being in quietude means being in nature sometimes. Although our movement, the Hare Krishna movement, Nam Sankirtan, is done in the association of devotees, and only by Sangha we can make advancement in Krishna consciousness. There's no doubt about it. But as we want to deepen our chanting and go more internal, it is always recommended that we sometimes spend in seclusion chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, especially chanting, or sometime we can take some time off and spend in quietude, alone in solitude, uh, reading and reflecting on Shastra. Although in the Association of Devotees also we do, but it is recommended by Bhaktivinoda Thakur here. अतएव स्पष्ट नाम भाव लग्न मने सदा होए ए प्रार्थना तुम्हार चरणे. He should utter and hear the name distinctly. Now regarding this, we had a long discussion from Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela 17th chapter of Prabhupada, what he has to speak. Soon his heart becomes attached to the holy name. O Lord, at your feet I pray that I may become attached in that way. So what will happen if we follow these instructions of Prabhupada? That we become attached to chanting holy name. And ultimately, we are trying our endeavor from our sides to attach to the holy name. But when the Lord's mercy comes in, then it is effortless. And the Lord will give mercy when we also endeavor. So it is both ways. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying that we should also pray at the lotus feet of the Lord that may I become attached to the holy name. Just like we know in India, especially those who are maybe on a long journey on a bicycle, you know how difficult it is to drive, maybe 100 kilometers or 500 kilometers. So as we are endeavoring and we are bicycling, suppose we get hold of a truck where there is a hook or a chain and we just hold on to it, and then effortlessly without pedaling, we can just go at the speed of the truck and reach our destination. Similarly, we are vibrating the mantra, we are trying to catch the mantra, catch the spiritual sound vibration. And we are trying to, hear the mantra attentively. We are catching, trying to, because the mind has a lot of impressions, material impressions, the spiritual sound is not being caught. But as we attentively try to catch the mantra and the heart is becoming free from chit chaito darpan marjanam is happening, then the mind becomes spiritualized. And when the mantra catches you, then you are taken on an internal ride, in the ride of the holy name, which will take you to the lotus feet of Krishna. So we need to pray also for like that. अपना यतने ते केह किचु नाही पारे तुम्हारा प्रसाद विना ei bhava samsare. Even with a great struggle, apana yatane te, no one can escape this world of birth and death. Kichu nahi pare, without your mercy, O Lord. Tumara prasad vina, without your mercy, we cannot cross this bhava samsar. Here is a footnote. Even if he is completely free from inattention in his chanting of the holy name, the individual soul cannot attain anything merely by his own endeavor. O Lord, your mercy makes everything easy. Therefore, I approach you and with heartfelt words, I beg for your mercy. In this way, one must pray. So one should express his helpless condition. Although, if he has attained this stage also, that natural humility is there and one will naturally feel like that. So those who are in the conditioned state, they don't know actually that they are suffering. So they don't address the Lord with heartfelt prayers. But here, ultimately, when the Lord is addressed with heartfelt prayers, then the Lord comes to the rescue of the conditioned soul. And by his Kripa Shakti only, ultimately everything is successful. Yashoda Mata, although she put a lot of efforts getting one rope after another to try Krishna, it was always 2 fingers short. Entirely all the house ropes in Nanda Bhavan were exhausted. All the ropes from the Goshala were got, but still it was falling short. Then the entire ropes from all the neighbors came neighboring houses were seeing this pastime and they were getting ropes from their houses. They wanted to see what is happening, competition. And Mother Yashoda did not give up. She was determined. And Krishna was also determined. But ultimately, when Krishna saw that Mother Yashoda was perspiring, he felt mercy. His Kripa Shakti got activated. And based on his Kripa Shakti, then Mother Yashoda was able to tie Krishna. So similarly, we put our efforts in attentively chanting, but when the mercy comes in, then everything happens. So this is the ultimate way Bhaktivinoda Thakur is recommending. Now the last theme here is one must make great effort. One must chant the holy name sincerely without the desire to cheat. One must not commit the offenses. So this is a long discussion which is going to be there, and there are only 2-3 verses, but we will go into a more long discussion about this, because here Bhaktivinoda Thakur is going to mention about chanting more number of rounds, and whether this is what Prabhupada recommended and what is the way out. This we will be discussing in our next class, and especially we will be discussing the Kali Santarna Upanishad, which is a conversation between Brahma and Narad. And there the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is mentioned, and what connection that has, and how we can attain perfection by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, that we will take up next time. But of course, we will see few of the points in the slides for this section 47 to 49 in the next week also. So I'll stop here. Any questions, any clarifications anyone has? Virendra Yadav Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, just I wanted to clarify this prayer while chanting. I mean, this while chanting we should have mode of prayer, or before chanting we should do prayer. I mean, just if you can just clarify.
Okay. So there are 3 things in chanting. It is called as a tripod: posture, pronunciation, prayerful mood. Posture, pronunciation, prayerful mood. Posture has to do with the body. Pronunciation has to do with the subtle body, because the voice vocal cord it is there. Then prayerful mood is the soul state. So the body, mind, and the soul, all 3. So all 3 should be in sync in one sense. We should sit in a proper posture, which we had a long discussion in our previous discussions, which are the right postures to sit, so that we can attentively chant. Pronunciation clearly and distinctly, which we had discussion today. Then prayers, yes. When we are about to chant, we can recite the prayers, whichever are our favorite prayers about the holy name, glories of the holy name, what Vaishnavacharyas have prayed about the holy name, or anything which is inspiring. So we start with a prayerful heart, so that ultimately the calling is from the soul. The calling is from the soul. In fact, it is only the soul's voice which is coming out. Now also when I'm speaking, it is the soul's voice, but it is coming through the vocal cords and then the mouth here, the gross organ. So it should be the soul's cry. So that's fine. Sitting before the chanting and reciting some wonderful prayers sets in the mood, and that is what all devotees should practice. So these 3 P's are very important: posture, pronunciation, prayerful mood. Yes, Mataji, you have a question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. As we have been seeing this for chanting, there are 3 steps: Nama Aparadh, Namabhas, and Shuddha Nam. So like beginners like me, where we are humble but not that humble where we are eligible for the Harinam chanting. Secondly, we are full of ego. So the basic requirement for this chanting is we have to be humble. And if we don't be in this mode, we are definitely doing nama apras. So how do we justify this? I mean, while chanting, should I be scared of, like, am I doing nama aparat? Or, I mean, there is some confusion on my side.
So, two things which sadhakas who are not at in the advanced stages where the genuine humility of the soul has not manifested at the stage of Nishtha, as sadhakas, two things they have to do in their practice. One is, as far as possible, avoid all the distractions and try to attentively hear the mantra. Hear the mantra, which we have been discussing today, at least. Major discussion was that to hear clearly and distinctly the pronunciation of the mantra and hear it. Then we in our life try to practice, because we have ego, we have to accept it, that we will in our dealings, I don't have that genuine humility of the soul where I want to give respect to others and not expect respect for myself, but I try to practice it. I try to respect others, other devotees, and also don't expect honor. So this in our practice we should put in. And whether we are really at that level will be tested. Krishna will test us and then we'll come to know. And so once we are tested, then we try to go more deeper then. Because when we are criticized or chastised, or when we are told, why did you not say Hare Krishna when I responded, or our false ego is hurt, we know how much our mind is disturbed. And we know that when I sit for chanting, I'm not able to focus, because why did that devotee say like this to me? These are the thoughts which are coming because the ego is hurt. So I'm not able to do Kirtaniya Sada Hari. So when I'm not able to do this, then I reflect, oh, my disease of the heart is deep rooted. So I then genuinely cry out and ask for mercy of Krishna, mercy of Vaishnavas. So that also sets in the mood of humility in us. So that becomes like a launching pad for us, me to become Trunadapi Samichana and also to chant. So it's like a diagnosis of ourselves, of our disease, and that should have a positive impact in the form of taking more shelter of the holy name, more shelter of association with devotees, more shelter of the philosophy. So like that we should do it in our practice. Is it clear, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, perfect. Understood very well. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'll just summarize what we discussed today. We practically today spent the whole discussion on Bhaktivinoda Thakur's one statement, which he makes in the footnote. When he mentions about Utsaha, he speaks about fixing the gaze on the holy name, which means to chant or hear one mantra attentively, and especially of not trying to finish the number of holy names quickly, but to hear the mantra very, very clearly and distinctively. So in this context, from the Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, 17th chapter, verses 22 to 32 is what we discussed, where Mahaprabhu is speaking how in Kali Yuga Krishna has come as an avatar, and by which you can be delivered. And the Brihad Naradiya Puran mentions Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nama three times for emphasis. And Kevala means it is only by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra you can attain self-realization, not by Jnana, Yoga or Tapa. And Eva means it is emphasized. This is the only process. Then Mahaprabhu goes on to explain what are the qualities of one who can always take the Naam. He should be Trunadapi and Taror Api Sahishnutan. Trunadapi, we saw the qualities of the grass. When it is trampled, it immediately rebounds back to the normal position. It doesn't break. And even there is a storm, the big trees might fall, but the grass doesn't come out of the ground. and it is soft. So somebody is trampled also with words or physically, as Bhrugumuni kicked on the chest of the Lord. But the Lord said, "Oh, my heart is like strong, like a Vajra. Maybe your feet have been hurt." So he was massaging the Lord's feet. So you can imagine what is the personification of Trunadapi. Lord Vishnu himself is showing. So these are the qualities one who is on that stage of Nishtha naturally has. But as sadhakas, we should at least practice giving respect to others and not expecting for ourselves. And the correlation between humility and tolerance is what? The more one is humble, the more the tolerance capacity or level is there. And in this way, ayachita vritti, we should practice this ayachita vritti. I mentioned at least in a year, 2-3 days, we go in a secluded place in the holy place and just chant and not ask or not personally make endeavor to take prasad. But when somebody calls, we will go and take. And nobody calls us, then we just take some fruits. And like that, if we live, it is bhakti dharma posh. And then Mahaprabhu recites this verse, Trunadapi Sunichena, and then raise our hands and based on this verse, make this verse into a form of a garland and put it in our kanta, throat. And Prabhupada there speaks about how chanting Namabhas and Namaprad will not give us Krishna Prem. So one should chant based on the principles of Trunadapi Sunichena. And what does mean? It means to chant clearly and distinctly. How we use the upper lip, lower lip, and the tongue, and not produce a hissing sound. In this context, we saw the chart where it is mentioned how each of the vowels or the consonants, aksharas, come from a specific location from the mouth. And we should try to practice chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra by pronouncing from those particular locations. Practice this over a period of time and then try to attentively hear so that we can come to this level of Trunadapi Sunichena. So we also saw the next section, that is the way out, the parikriya, that we should sit in a secluded place and devote to chanting or reading and chant the mantra distinctly, clearly, and the heart will become attached to the holy name. And this happens, ultimately we have to pray. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur makes a very important point that we cannot with our own efforts attain the Lord. Ultimately the Lord's Kripa Shakti has to come and give us mercy. And in the Damodar Leela, how this happens, we saw. So thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. Shri Harinam Chintamani ki jai. Hare Krishna.